What are we doing today?
Today we're going to talk about the Cricut Joy. A lot of people are getting these for gifts, and we're going to walk through doing an unboxing, showing you exactly what's inside, and then making a project or two.
How do we set it up?
We're going to go through that as well. We're going to show how to download the software from the Cricut website and actually opening up, creating an account, and getting started on creating.
Can we make something?
We're going to make something.
Just like somebody just got this right out of the box. They get to
Right
get out
out.
the first 5 minutes. They can make something?
Yes.
Stop it.
No, I'm not stopping it. We're going to do it.
Let's
right
do
here,
it.
right now.
Let's do it.
Ready? All right.
I'm glad you're showing people this because a lot of people probably get it home. They don't know what to do. And a lot of people don't know how to open boxes. You know what I mean? I have a hard time.
Really?
I'm very unique, Felicia.
You are very special. I'm not going to lie.
All right.
All right, so we've opened our box and we're going to take a look and see what's inside. You can see that it's very well packaged. And inside we have the Cricut Joy. She is
it shrink wrap?
Shrink wrapped.
Oh.
Very well protected. It also comes with your cables, your power cable, as well as this envelope. And inside the envelope it says open me. So
Is there a present?
Let's see.
Love presents.
When we open it up, it's got a let's
get it started. Mm-hmm.
It's got a piece of cardstock.
Okay.
It's got a piece of smart permanent vinyl.
Oh, that's good.
And it comes with a standard grip mat.
So really everything you need to just get started, do your first project.
And then some instructions as well.
Okay.
All right, so we'll set that aside.
Do you need the instructions or is everything kind of in the app?
Everything's kind of in the app. I mean, in the instructions, this is just safety information.
Blah, blah, blah.
And this is warranty information.
Blah, 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 blah.
Okay. All right,
Recycle.
Recycle. So we'll go ahead and set the box aside. And we're going to go ahead and unwrap the Cricut.
This is my favorite part. Does it smell like a new Cricut?
Does it smell like a new Cricut?
Does it have that new Cricut smell?
Yes,
Does it?
Yes, well, yes, it does.
Yummy. Is this the most exciting 2 minutes of your entire
This is the
career?
most exciting 2 minutes of my career. What you'll see though is that there are no buttons on this. You might see on some of the other devices. And there's only thing in the back is a power button.
Is that a CD player?
This looks like a CD player according to Fresh, but it really is not. It's how the vinyl comes out the back. And when you open it up, ta-da, we'll take out the styrofoam, aside. And in here, you'll see there's only one housing. And the housing that comes with it is the fine point blade.
Oh, it's already in there.
It's already in there.
Cute.
Okay. And again, it comes with a pen, and it's also shrink wrapped. This is not only children, but adult proof. Here's your pen. So you can switch out the blade and the pen just by pulling the blade out, uncapping your pen, inserting it, and locking it in. And now you're ready to use the pen.
Look at you.
Okay. But the first thing we're going to do is set up our machine so that it works with Design Space. So it comes with the adapter that plugs into the back of the device, as well as the power cord. One end plugs into the adapter here, and then the other plugs into power. That's all it does. You can see the light on the top is blinking or solid now, and it's on. All right, so let's go over to Cricut.com and create a new account for Design Space. So we're going to click in the sign in link in the top right hand corner on Cricut.com and choose the Create Cricut ID, filling in the name, the information, creating a user ID, password, entering your information here. This will give you the ability to actually go into Design Space with an account. Then from here, you're going to want to, there's some menu options there, but in the top right-hand corner, click on My Account. And then in the left top-hand corner, click on Design Space. You're going to want to click on that I agree with the Cricut terms and conditions, and then click Download. This will actually download the executable file to your computer and allow you to do the installation. You'll just click Run. It'll go off and install the software on your computer. All right, once you've got the software installed, you're going to want to go into Design Space and you want to create or set up your new product. You're going to want to select your machine, then select the Joy, and then follow the prompts to prepare your workspace. It tells you how far you need to have space behind it. It tells you how to plug in your device, and it lets you know that you need to be connected via Bluetooth. You'll have to do within system settings on your computer. Once you have that done, go ahead and click on continue, and it will set up your device for you. It's up to date, it's registered, and you're off and running. It tells you that you have some free gifts that are coming to you, a collection of free images, fonts, and ready to make products. So once you click the accept gifts button there, that you're accepting the terms and conditions, it'll pop up a screen and give you some information about Cricut Access. They're going to offer you a 30-day free trial, which gives you access to unlimited images, over 150,000, more than 500 different fonts, exclusive features, all the projects you can want. And you can try that out for 30 days and decide what you want to do. So let's go ahead and do a test cut. Let's select one of the test images. In my case, I'll select the sunflower. And we're going to go ahead and send that to the Cricut Joy. It tells you here, it shows you with a video how to install the blade if it's not installed into your device, and how to actually load the smart vinyl into the machine between the two guides. So let's go ahead and try that. We're going to open the Cricut Joy. We already have our blade in, and we're going to slide the smart vinyl into the machine, and then in Design Space, we're going to simply click the Go button. Remember, there's no buttons on the top of the machine. So now the device is cutting that sunflower for us. When it's done, in Design Space, you'll click Unload, and then you'll take your material and you'll peel back the parts that you don't need. And you'll also want to go ahead and grab your weeding tool, and you're going to want to weed out all the pieces and parts that aren't needed in the design. Once you have all the pieces weeded out of your design, go ahead and take a piece of transfer tape, press firmly on the design, and then peel the transfer tape up from the backing, and the image should be stuck to the transfer tape. From there, go ahead and grab the object that you're going to put your image on. In my case, I'm going to use a glass. Once I have it positioned exactly where I'd like to have it, I'm going to go ahead and press firmly down on it to adhere it to the device or the object. Press down firmly, and then grab one of the corners of the transfer tape and slowly peel back the transfer tape to get the image to stick to your object. And there you have it. You have permanent vinyl adhered to a glass, and you should always hand wash these. They say if you run it through the dishwasher, it's not going to work so well. It could peel off, but hand washing should work great. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's create a t-shirt. We're going to use Infusible ink so that it actually infuses the material into the t-shirt that we're going to use. You need to be sure to use a sublimation type t-shirt that's got a high level of polyester in it. In my case, I'm going to use a Cricut t-shirt. They're made to work with the Infusible ink. We're going to need to use our standard grip mat, which is what we're going to put the transfer tape onto to cut through the Cricut Joy. We're also going to want to grab our weeding tool, and we're going to want to take our paper trimmer to use to cut down our Infusible ink to the size that we need for our image. You're also going to need a heat press or some sort of heating device. You're going to want to use something that's going to get to 385 to 400 degrees. In my case, I'm going to use the Cricut Easy Press 2. Back in Design Space, I'm going to select the image I want. In my case, I'm going to select two because I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. So I'll select the Christmas tree and the snowflake, add it to my canvas. You can see here I've got both of them, and I've kind of decided that I don't want to do the snowflake, so I'm going to click on it and then click in the X in the upper left-hand corner to delete it. Then I can grab the arrows in the bottom right, and I can stretch it and make the image the size that I want, or I can change the size of it in the top menu bar. Once I have it to the size that I want, and you can use the zoom feature in the bottom left-hand corner to zoom in and zoom out, I'm going to go ahead and change the color of the Christmas tree just to show you how you can change colors, and I'll change it to red. Then once I'm happy with it, I'm going to click the Make It button in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and select On Matte because Infusible ink doesn't come as smart material. And now I can see that the size of the image is going to be roughly about 3 inches by just over 4. So I'm going to click on Browse All Materials, and I'm going to type in Infusible ink to find. Once you select the material you want to use, click down in the bottom right-hand corner. Now you're ready to load the material into your machine. Once you're ready to go, you will come back to Design Space and you'll click that Go button. But let's go back in and actually take a look at how to load the material into the machine itself. So back over on the machine, we're going to take out our infusible ink from the packaging. Infusible ink needs to be in a dry, cool place and that's dark so the colors don't fade. And it comes in a very secure black packaging you'll have to cut open, and you can tell that the material is muted compared to the coloring of the box. Once we heat it up, the coloring is going to change and brighten up, but for now it's going to stay that muted color. So we're going to go ahead and size down our material to the size of our image that is in Design Space. And then we're going to lay it on our mat. Design Space tells you the directions on how to use the infusible ink, that you need to make sure that you're mirroring if you're using text, and when you put it on the mat, you need to make sure that the color side, the pattern side is up and that the shiny backing side is down. Once you're ready to go ahead and load the mat into the machine between the two guides. It'll read the size of the mat to make sure that it's acceptable to what the image is in Design Space. And then you'll click that Go button in the bottom right-hand corner in Design Space, and off it will go cut. When it's done, it'll spit that mat back out, and you'll be able to weed out the pieces and parts that you don't need. You're going to leave the plastic backing stuck to the mat, and you're just going to peel up the pieces that don't need to be part of the image. And then once you have it all removed, you're going to be ready to heat that image on your t-shirt. So we're going to heat our Cricut Easy Press 2 up to 400 degrees. It's got a timer on it as well as the temperature settings, so it's just going to take a minute for that to heat up. While it's doing that, take a piece of parchment paper and put it between the two layers of the t-shirt so that the ink doesn't go through to the backing. Then take your image and align it to the t-shirt where you'd like it to go, and again, just take a look. That muted color is going to brighten up to the color on the box once we have it heated. I'm using a V-neck t-shirt, so I'm just going to align that Christmas tree with that V in the neck, and I will be ready to go. I'm going to fold that parchment paper over just to kind of protect it a little bit, leaving part of it between the t-shirt and then over the image, and then I'm going to press this for 60 seconds, applying a little bit of pressure. The more pressure, the better that infusible ink is going to adhere into the material itself. All right, once we've done that 60 seconds, remember that area is very hot. We just pressed that at 400 degrees. You're going to want to let that cool down before you do anything to touch that area. When it's cooled down, go ahead and peel up the backing, which will peel up the paper as well. And now you can see that the muted colors from the vinyl itself are now popping, and they match the box color. And now you've made your first t-shirt and nothing bled to the back. All right, let's go ahead and switch gears. Let's make a card. Back in Cricut Design Space, let's go ahead and go under Projects, select Free for Cricut Joy in the upper right-hand corner, and type in Card. You can then scroll through and get a listing of the free cards that are available to you, and go ahead and select one. In my case, I selected balloon cards. It tells you what the materials are supposed to be, everything that you need, and you select the size of the card you're going to be cutting. In my case, I'm using the card mat, or the card that came with. Once you click Make It in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to go ahead and select Insert Card from the type of material you're going to be using. And it shows you that you need to be using a fine point blade and how to load the mat into the machine. You're just going to go ahead and load that mat into your machine, and when it's loaded, you're going to click the Go button. So let's go over to the machine itself and let's show how to actually make that load happen. So here we are. We've got our Cricut Joy. We have our card mat. We're going to remove the plastic backing from the front of it, and you'll see that the card mat has two layers. It's got this plastic cover on it. This is where you would put the back of the card underneath that plastic cover and the front of the card on top of it and adhere it to it. The card kits come in sets of 10 or 12, and that kit comes with cardstock that's already scored and folded for you. It comes with also inserts that will be used to put into the card once the cut is made, and it also comes with envelopes. All of this in one handy set. So we're going to go ahead and take our card, and we're going to open it up and put the back of the card behind that plastic cover on the card mat. The card mat only works with the Cricut Joy, by the way. Once we have that inserted, we're going to press the top down to get it to stick to that front part, and we're going to go ahead and open up our Joy and insert our card mat between the two guides. Back in Design Space, you will have clicked the Go button, and off it will go off and cut, and in Design Space, you'll see the percentage complete on that design. All right, once it's done, click on Load in Design Space and then carefully peel the top of that card from the mat and pull it out. You'll be able to see that your card is now cut with the design that you chose, and you're going to take your insert card, and in each corner there's a slit that's cut into it. You're going to go ahead and insert that insert into those slits, and you will have a finished product. You can then take a look. See that? Isn't that gorgeous? Now you can take a metallic pen or a piece of white cardstock and glue that into the inside and write whatever personalized message you want. You've created your first card using the Cricut Joy. It's just that simple. All right, let's move on and let's create a mug using the Cricut Joy. Back in Cricut Design Space, on the left, go ahead and click on Projects. This gives you a listing of all categories and all the projects that are available to you in Design Space. On the top right, you'll see an area for all categories. Go ahead and click on that drop down and select Free. You can then use the search box to search projects, type in mug and hit enter or click the search icon. You'll see that you have 2 free mug options to choose from. Go ahead and click on Mug Design Setup. You'll get a pop-up window that shows you a picture of what your mug will look like. It gives you a drop-down size for finished sizes. Go ahead and click that drop-down arrow, and you can see that you can select the edge design for your mug based on the size of your mug. You can click on the straight edges, what's showing in the picture right now. You could click on stackable straight edge. Let's see what that looks like. Not really sure that made a difference, but let's go ahead and click on ripped. You can see the edge change to a ripped look, and then scallop would look something like this. Or in our case, let's go ahead, for me and my design, I'm going to go ahead and click the large wavy edge for a 15-ounce mug, because that's the size mug that I have. When you scroll down, it tells you exactly what materials you're going to need and anything else you're going to have with you. In our case, we're going to need to use Infusible ink, transfer sheets, we're going to need a standard grip mat, the Cricut mug press, a mug, a lint roller, and heat-resistant tape, potentially. It describes what the preparation is as well as the cut. We're going to go ahead and click on Customize, and it will load the mug design template into our canvas. All right, you can see that there are these red guides here. These are created with a pen, and we're going to hide those once we have our design set up, because we don't want the pen to actually print out on our design. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go to Images on the left, and in the search box, we're going to go ahead and type in Cricut and hit enter. On the left, we're going to go ahead and click on Free, so we can see all the free images that are available to us that have the Cricut label attached to them. We'll click on this little guy here, and we'll scroll down and we'll click on this guy. And in the bottom, you'll see that there are 2 images selected. I'm going to click on Add to Canvas. Once in Canvas, back on the canvas, you'll see that we have our 2 images here. We can then place them in the position that we would like. Maybe this one would go over here, and this little guy would go over here. And we can use our guides to center them under the guides where we'd like. We can also then click on one and shift click on the other and go to a line at the top and select Center Vertically. All right, as long as we're happy with the way that our design looks in Design Space, we can go ahead and click on the guides, and over in the layer section on the right, there's a little eyeball. Go ahead and click on that and it will hide the guides. Then we're going to need to cut out or slice our Cricut images out of our template so that the template shows the mug through where the images are. So the mug is going to be mainly blue, and then the Cricut images on either side are going to come through through the mug as white, which is what the color of the mug is we're going to use. So we're going to click on one of the images. We're going to shift click on the blue background, and in the bottom right hand corner you'll see there's an option for slice. We're going to click slice, and now it's hidden the other image. It's just pushed it behind to bring the blue forward. Here you can see the black image of the Cricut, and on the right hand side you can see there's a new image, is a green one and a black one. So we're going to go ahead and click on the eyeball for the first one and for the green one as well. And now it's hidden. Now this is the cutout or the slice that is through our template. So we're going to go ahead and grab the black one, on the right hand side, as well as shift click on the right under layers and select the green template. And we're going to go ahead again in the bottom right, click on slice. And again, over on the right in layers, we're going to hide any of the little crickets that are visible. Now you can see that we have a template that has both cutouts on either side with our crickets. Now, in order to get this to cut properly, we're going to have to go ahead and select the layers and attach them so that when we cut it, these will cut out as one. Now that we're set up for this, we're going to go ahead and change my machine to the Joy. And then up in the upper right hand corner, we're going to click Make It. From there, it's going to prompt me for what type of material am I going to use. And in my case, I'm going to use Infusible ink, which is not smart material, so I'm going to need to use a matte. So I'll click on Matte and say Done. So in this case, my matte has to be longer than the standard matte. So I'm going to use a standard grit matte, but it's going to be the longer 12-inch version versus the 6.5 inch. So if we were to have a design that had text on it, you would want to come over on the left and click on Mirror to flip it so that the text would come out properly on your mug. But in our case, we're just using images, so mirroring is not necessary. And we're going to click Continue. Once we get to the next screen, we're going to want to select the type of material we're going to use. So click on Browse All Materials. In the search box, go ahead and type Infusible ink and hit Enter. Select Infusible ink and then click Done. Now, one important thing to note here is that Design Space is warning you with this little warning symbol. It says make sure mirror is turned on, and that is if you are using a design that has text. And it tells you that the material is going to need to be ink side up on your mat. So you want to make sure that the shiny part of the material is facing down on the mat and that the pattern portion is facing up. Once you've got that set up, you can then go ahead and load your mat into your machine. Once it's ready to go, you'll click the Go button in the bottom right hand corner. Let's go give it a try.
So you have your mug. It is a Sublimation mug. This particular one is a Cricut actual mug, so make sure you don't get your fingerprints on it. You can use a lint roller to roll any lint that may be on there off before you actually adhere your material to it. In my case, I didn't touch it. You're also going to, obviously, you're going to use the Joy. You're going to want to use your Infusible ink. In my case, I'm going to use a blue. I also have my mug press out, and the mug press only has an on-off button to it. So we're going to go ahead and pull out our Infusible ink. We're going to cut it down to the size that we need and stick that on our mat. Using our paper trimmer, we'll cut that down to the size that we need it to be. And again, make sure that when you go to the mat that you put the shiny backing down and the color of the Infusible ink facing up, and then load that into your machine. Once you have the mat loaded into the machine, go back to Design Space and simply click Go. Again, the mug press itself only has an on-off button to it. That's all there is to it, and it will tell you, it'll beep at you when it's ready to be used, when it's fully heated up. In the meantime, while that is heating up, let's go ahead and weed out the pieces and parts of our cutout that we don't need. All right, now that we have everything weeded out, we're going to go ahead and grab our mug, and we're going to wrap this cutout around the mug, aligning it together. The ends are clear plastic and they're sticky, so you can use that to help you stick that material onto the mug. You can also use heat-resistant tape if the stickiness isn't strong enough for you. Once you have it placed where you want it, then you'll be then ready to add that into the heat press once it's hot enough. All right, now that the heat press is ready to go, I'm just going to flip that lid open. You're going to be very careful not to touch any of that green part. That is the heated part, and it is 400 degrees hot. So you're going to wiggle that into, it's a real tight space, you're going to wiggle that mug into there and center it between the opening, making sure, again, you don't touch the green part. When you've got it centered, simply push down that lever, and you will see the dots start to blink. All 5 of those dots are going to have to be lit before it's done. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes, and it's a good idea to do this in a well-ventilated area because the infusible ink does let off a gas and it can be a little smelly. Once it's done, simply lift that lever, carefully lift up the handle, which is not hot. The mug itself is hot, but that handle is not. Set it down on a heat-resistant mat, let it cool off, and then you'll be able to peel back the transfer film and see your design on your mug. Again, that mug is very hot. It's used at 400 degrees, so be extremely careful with this. And there you have it. You have your first mug that you've created with a couple of Cricuts on it, and you can see how that blue muted infusible ink popped in color once we heated it up. All right, so you've got your Cricut Joy. You've created several projects. We've created a card using the card kit. We created a mug using an infusible ink in the mug press. We created a t-shirt using infusible ink, as well as a permanent vinyl sticker for our glass. Well done, everybody. I hope you enjoy your Cricut Joy as much as I do.